Hey there, family. So I wanted to make this video for you because I've been doing a lot of sessions lately with people that are experiencing a lot of the heaviness, and I wanted to kind of touch base with a lot of you that I'm not in personal contact with and provide some support about the cycle that we're in. So continuing on with the energy update that I shared at the beginning of the month, we're really in some deep and heavy energies right now. And it really does, there's a lot of doom and gloom coming up, and a lot of sadness and a lot of unwillingness to continue doing this stuff, right? So hopelessness and helplessness can start to creep in when we feel like there's not a solution. And when you look out at the world and there's so many horrible things going on, it's hard to not feel heavy and wonder, like, is this just our life now? Is this just how things are going to be? And I'm here to remind you, no, this is not how they're going to be. We are passing through one of the heaviest periods in our transformation right now. And so all of these heavy things are being brought up to the surface to be handled and healed. And there's a lot of external factors that are trying to take us out of our center, right? So we're being drawn into conflict with systems, especially, right? And so this can be school systems, this can be financial systems, this can be legal systems, this can be any type of system, right? And while we're being drawn into conflict or into heavy situations where we have to defend ourselves, this is when we can start to think like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here for this. But what we need to do in these moments is recognize that what we're living right now is a past creation showing up in the present moment, right? Because when we create things in the past, you know, everything that we've done, right, led us to this moment. And that's what I mean by the past. We're living it in the present. This is the accumulative vibrational expression showing up in physical form. Now, there's no blame, shame, or guilt in this. We've made a lot of mistakes. We've been tricked and deceived and betrayed so many times. And so there's a lot of matrix harassment is what I like to call it, where when you get on your path and things are going good, somebody gets sent in to disrupt you, right? This can be a roommate. It can be somebody else in the building. It can be anybody. It can be a potential partner, or like even a current partner can totally flip their script on you. Friends. So all of this stuff is happening where people are showing up into your life and then twisting things around suddenly to where you feel like the rug is being pulled out from under you over and over, right? And this is something that we will get through. We're on one of the biggest nexus points that is allowing us to complete all the different time looping that we've been in. So if you're familiar with any type of time looping and manipulation of the timelines, that's what this is kind of completing and wrapping up. And so it's chaotic, it's confusing, and it can make you feel really sad. But we're facing this collective shadow, right? And the shadow is the part of humanity, the part of all of our experiences, lifetimes, that we have done things that we don't want to acknowledge, right? So the parts of ourselves, we're like, wow, I have to take accountability for creating this, right? And a lot of people are not taking accountability. They're projecting onto others. And that's what a lot of you are experiencing, the projection from others that spins your head. You're like, what are you talking about? You know, that's not what I did, right? Being drawn into conflict to defend yourself. Now, this is largely being done because of this huge kind of shift and separation between lower timelines and higher timelines. And while this is occurring, there's a lot of bait to draw people into lower timeline experiences, because that's a range where you are vulnerable and largely miserable and not able to manifest what you want and influenced by external forces in a very negative way, right? Now, in the higher timelines, we're inner sourcing things. We're going within, deep within, to really get that intuition and inner guidance, because all of the answers are within each of us. if we quiet our minds and we come into our center. But if we're distracted by all these external things and we're being knocked out of our center all the time, it's hard to trust what we feel coming through. And so right now, in these moments of chaos and crisis, for a lot of us, and overwhelm is certainly one of the primary things that people are talking to me about right now. I'm just overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. And things aren't working out, right? So when we feel like things aren't working out, we have to question our points of view around that. Do we have expectations of how they should be or should not be? Because if we have a set expectation and our expectation isn't met, we end up feeling disappointed. And that disappointment makes us believe we can't have what we want or that things are bad, right? But really, what if they're not? What if they didn't work out that way because that's not your highest good or not our highest good, right? What if there's something we're not seeing? And so what my higher self asked me to share with you is to focus on the things that are working, to get into a space of gratitude around the things that are working while not pretending like nothing bad is happening, right? If you can't take action to change it, it's important to focus on something you can take action on and increase the good in your life, or increase the things that you feel that make you feel good or make you feel joy. And it can be simple things. And a lot of times when we dwell on a problem, we don't actually get the solution from the problem level. It's when we put our focus and attention on something else, it allows that higher consciousness to come through because we're no longer focused at the problem level in the problem energy, right? So if you're struggling with finances and you're trying to figure out what to do all the time with finances, you're in the problem. So going for a walk and enjoying some music where your head is not on the problem anymore can open up the space for a solution to come in or a possibility to come in. So asking yourself, what's good and new? What's good and new in my life? What's good and new in the world, right? Because for as much heaviness and bad things happening, there are a lot more good things happening. There is amazing transformation in the collective energies. There are so many more possibilities in our spiritual growth process and in our ascension process. But if we're caught up in the problem, we are not in resonance with the solution because those two things do not exist at the same level, right? And so if you're having relationship troubles, trying to figure it out and make it work may not be the approach, right? Maybe that's when you go see a movie or you go take yourself out to dinner or go for a walk or do some artwork, doodle a little bit, do something to let your mind kind of clear. And I know when I'm working on my courses and things like that, if I get to a point where I feel frustration, I know it is not the time to create, right? So if you're feeling heavy, it's not the time to do what you're doing unless you're processing a lot of those heavy feelings. Always acknowledge your feelings. Your feelings are there for a reason. We have to acknowledge them and move through them, right? And sometimes doing things like doodling or painting or whatever craft you like, beadworking, sewing, whatever it is that can allow your mind to kind of unravel these things and open up to receive from your higher self, right? And from your highest self. And you can bring that in through your inner awareness, okay? And so when we're calling these different things into our timeline, right? So let's talk about that real quick and then I'll let you go here. And I appreciate your time. So thank you for being here with me. When you're calling things into your timeline, you're doing it with attention and intention and awareness, right? So whatever you place your attention on, you're really intending to place your attention there, right? Your focus is up to you. And I get it. A lot of times things are happening around us and we have to give it our attention, right? So then you give it your attention with intention. What can I do with this energy? What can I do with this situation? How can I shift this situation? What points of view can I take that will allow this to transform? What energies can I put into it, right? Because we're constantly putting out energy. And so calling things into your timeline, what does that look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? And then focusing on that, that's the basic manifestation process, right? Feelings, thoughts, images, all of those things together help to generate the imaginary experience. Your imagination is the seat of creation and manifestation. So if you can imagine it and be in that space more than you're in the other space, it will start to come into form. However, in order to receive that, you're going to be challenged by the things that prevent you from receiving that, right? And that's largely what we're doing. We're transforming the entire world right now, which means all of this heavy stuff has to come up to the surface so that we can address it and make different choices and to clear it, right? So the things that are challenging you right now are the things that stand between you and your desires. That's why they're coming up. So that's a reframe at the way of looking at the challenges we face. And now we can look at them with more empowerment. Say, okay, this is happening for me. Now what can I do with it? And I know this is probably going to tick a lot of you off because it sucks. And I'll validate that. It sucks to be in these challenging situations where it seems like a series of unfortunate events, right? But when you ask for something so different than what you have, and you're fed up with what you have and what you've been experiencing, everything has to shift. So we need to give ourselves room and have loving compassion for ourselves that because my life is shifting, I have these things falling apart, but that's okay. I have to let them fall apart in a way so I can build them in a new way that really reflects my current self, my new self, the higher identity, right? So I love you so much. And for each of you that are going through all of these heavy challenges, hang in there, my friends. We will get through this, and it is heavy, and your feelings do matter. And I know a lot of you are feeling so heavy. I can feel you. And I'm going through extreme challenges too. Like, it is off the charts. I call it beyond Thunderdome, and that's like the furthest you can go, right? But here's the thing. It gives us the opportunity for self-mastery, right? It gives us the opportunity to apply our focus with intention. It gives us the opportunity to take accountability for where we've gotten out of our center and where we've allowed others to derail us, right? I love you. I'll be back soon, okay? Take care.